my name is Pete Walen. I'm sitting here with Janet Gregory and Lisa Crispin, and we are having a ton of fun. We're at Agile Testing Days in Potsdam, Germany, where we're talking about Agile testing for an entire week. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Great. Having a lot of fun.
We are. Just the beginning of the week, and we're already tired, but hey.
No, but so much to look forward to. So.
Yeah, they're already tired because yesterday they had a tutorial on Agile.
We did.
And I heard happy things coming from that room, so.
Yes, it actually went really, really well. I was so happy with it. We had lots of people, lots of the contributors were in the room, and they were talking, and they were having a good time, I think. Lots of good ideas coming out of it.
Well, what was exciting to me was that we're to the point in the growth of Agile and Agile testing that we actually have advanced practitioners in the room.
Yes.
So we can hold an advanced topics in Agile testing workshop, and people come with really innovative ideas, and we did a lot of collaborative exercises with mind mapping and things like that I think we really got some groundbreaking ideas in the workshop, which is what we had hoped for.
Yes. So that is actually one of the things I like best about this conference, is that there are people that keep coming back, and they're learning and contributing back into the community. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, we're forging new frontiers.
Going boldly where no one has gone before?
Sort of, yeah.
You could say that, yeah. All right, to steal a phrase. Right. So you said that Agile has gotten where you can actually have a workshop on advanced practices, and you will have people actually doing these advanced things in the room instead of speaking to crickets, which is awesome. I hate it when I'm speaking to crickets. They never speak back.
You're right, they don't.
So you've written not one, but now 2 books on Agile testing. There's this conference that's now in its 6th year. You've been here every year. You've been talking about Agile and doing other things that are Agile-like. I've got a really fundamental question. What is it that's driving the idea of Agile?
Agile or Agile testing?
I'd settle for Agile testing.
Okay. I think there's a need in traditional, for example, testing that is always after the fact. So we're trying to test quality in. Whereas in Agile, we're trying to deliver in small increments, and we don't have time to do that. So Agile testing, what we're trying to do is integrate the whole, the coding, the requirements definition, the testing all together. And so Agile testing is about how do we do that? How do we bring testing as part of the process and make it just so fundamental that you think of testing as an activity versus a phase, and it just goes hand in hand.
Right. We've always liked Elizabeth Hendrickson's definition of Agile, which is delivering business value frequently at a sustainable pace. So
Yes.
Testing,
We knew there was a phrase missing.
So testing is part of that sustainable pace. These are the practices that let us break features down into small increments, find our minimal viable products, get fast feedback, help our customers figure out what they want more quickly and get more value, more return on investment, help our businesses be successful. And it's a whole team effort. And that's really the difference between the old school phased and gated types
And
approaches.
testing has become fun.
Right.
In so many different ways.
Yeah, we have so many more tools at our disposal and so many people, programmers, designers, architects helping us, making it easier to test things.
Okay. Now I'll answer the other half of that question. We talked about Agile testing. How about the Agile movement in general?
Well, I mean, I've been doing Agile since my first team was 2001, somewhere in there. And having come from a traditional environment going into an Agile environment, after I went on that first project, I knew for me there was no other way to develop software because it just made so much sense to me. It felt right. The breaking it up into smaller chunks, the whole team, the collaboration, it just felt really well for what for how I work. And I think that's what Agile, and that's what people are finding, is that it's challenging. It is challenging, but it's so rewarding, right? At smaller, you don't have to work for 2 years before you put out something that nobody will want.
That may not work.
Yes. That, or
You were trying to avoid that, but I'll go there. I'm good with that. I worked on that project.
I worked on those projects too.
Well, what attracted me to Agile in the first place, back in the days of extreme programming, is I read Kent Book's Extreme Programming Explained, and every page was about quality. It was all about testing. It was about the whole team participating in this effort and really thinking about the customer and working with the customer. And if you follow those values and principles of extreme programming and other Agile flavors, then you can get to that quality. I think the sad thing is I feel like very few companies really are embracing the notion of quality as the most important thing. When you focus on quality, then you get speed, you get productivity, you get innovation, you get all those other things. But like so many popular methodologies in the past, Agile has just been seen as the newest silver bullet, and the cargo cult of Agile gets put in place, but the values and principles aren't embraced, and so it fails. So that's sad to see, and we're slow learners, but we're still seeing it more and more widely adopted, and more big companies even are being successful with it. So, we've known good things about software development for decades now and haven't been doing them broadly. So we just have to keep working at it. And it's because I work on a team, it's very exciting to work on a team that's all test infected for a company that really puts quality as the primary goal of their product, puts their customers first.
Okay, and I have to say that, I see a lot of companies that say that they're agile, but they've got a really shallow adoption of it. It's like, that's the new shiny, that's what the cool kids are doing, so I'm going to say I'm doing it, and we'll have daily sprints with our status reports and our stand-up meetings, and we'll have 35 people in the room, and the only people speaking are the leads and managers, and it's like, oh, what a train wreck.
Yeah.
That's a guaranteed to fail.
Yeah. And it's hard for a company to adopt, right? And that's, I think, one of the struggles that the larger companies are having is because it's such a mindset change, right? So a lot of the managers have been trained in very traditional methods, and I think that there's lacking, most of the training was at the development first, right? The testing part, it came after. And I think now some of the managers could really use more training, and there's a lack of training kind of thing. There's more coming out, like Jurgen's and stuff. Mm-hmm. But if they don't understand what their role is and how their role has changed, they're not going to be as successful. They're not going to see the biggest benefits because they're still trying to micromanage the teams, and the value, the benefits they're hoping for aren't going to show up. And I think that's where they fail a lot.
Well, the business managers seem to forget that they hired us because we know how to develop software, and they don't want to just let us do that in the best way we know how. But I had the wonderful experience back in 2003. I joined a team on a company where the company was about to go under because their business model was based on software, and they could not get software out the door. And the co-founders were finance guys. They knew nothing about software. And so they asked around, and what do we do about this? And they heard about Agile. There was a shiny new thing. So they said, who's the best person to do Agile around? And in our area, it was Mike Cohn. So that was a very good choice. And they actually got Mike Cohn to come work full-time, and he worked with the team that was already there and brought in a couple of new people, including myself. But these business people were very smart. They're like, we have hired people who know how to develop software, and we're going to completely put this in their hands. Mm-hmm. Whatever they tell us, we're going to do. And so Mike's first thing was, okay, we're going to slow down now, and we're going to learn how to do test-driven development or all the practices the team wants to adopt, because this is a team that wants to produce high-quality software. And it took some time to ramp up. But, even if we only delivered one tiny feature at the end of a 2-week sprint, or maybe two 2-week sprints, the customers were delighted because they had been getting nothing. So I got to see how a team evolves over almost 10 years that I was there, or almost 9 years that I was there, and how if you take the time, you really do build a solid foundation, and you can learn faster and do more over time. Of course, you always have new problems, but that was because the business said, hey, we need software, so we're going to hire the experts, and we're going to do whatever they tell us to do.
But always having the customer there with you.
Right,
The business, right, yes. So that's a big part of it. The business, it's business driven, not business managed.
Right.
Maybe that's right.
Good way to put it.
I think that's a really, really significant piece of the puzzle that most people don't realize, that no process model is going to save you if you're not driving towards something that's tangible.
Yes.
And in this it was a small company, so I think that's a little easier. But because we were a small company, it was easy for the software team to be an integral part of the business. Sure. And we were not only consulted in matters of software, but often, what do you think is going to be the most valuable feature we should deliver next? And helping us, we're helping them make actual business decisions. And we actually sat with those people and did their job so we could really learn how we could best help them. And most companies don't take the time that's required to do that. It pays off, but it's hard to make that investment.
It is. And I'm going to latch on to one phrase that you just said and loop back to something I said at the very beginning.
Okay.
Ready? Awesome. Here we go. I said early on that you've got not one but 2 books out on agile testing. Now, in my previous life, which was drumming and things like that. Yeah, go ahead, laugh. It's okay. We're good with this.
That's good.
I actually wrote books on how to play drums.
Cool.
2 of them. The first one was okay, and people went, yeah, this is really good. This is useful. This is helpful. We can learn something from this. And about 6 months after it came out, I went, I'm missing all these pieces, so I wrote a second book. What was the motivation for your more agile testing book, which is officially releasing, I think, tonight? Is that tomorrow night? Ah, very good.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So what was the motivation behind that?
Well, the publisher actually came to us and said, would you be willing to do a second edition? So yeah. So we looked through, because it had been 5 years.
Yeah.
So we looked through the book and we went, no, it's still all valid. Some of the words may have developed since then, but the basic stuff we said in 2009 is still all valid. So we didn't want to change it. But then when we started thinking about what has changed and how things have grown and what we're seeing, we decided there was a whole book in that. So we proposed this, and it's there, almost as big as the first one.
All the things that we
learned.
learned in 5 years, which was a lot, all the new technologies and new priorities that came up.
Yes.
When we wrote the original book in 2008, nobody was really testing their mobile apps, and now that's very important.
Yeah.
Embedded software, it's everywhere now. And then just some of the context, because Agile is adopted by big global companies now. How do you deal with that situation?
Distributed teams.
Distributed teams, sure. So there were just a lot of areas that either we didn't cover much in the first book or really didn't get to, or they're just so new since the first book. So, and although we're not experts on all those areas, we know people who are, and they contributed to the book.
Yeah, we had some really good contributors to the book, people who were experts in their area. Thanks, Pete.
It's good to have friends, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. And I think that's what's going to make this book special, right? Is because we've taken a lot of different contributors and they're telling real stories about how they did it. And I think we're hoping that that will inspire people to say, gee, these people did it this way. Maybe if I tweak that, that'll work in my context. And so that's what we're really hoping for, is to get people to start thinking about how to adapt how somebody else has done it and bring it back into their life, rather than just hearing theory all the time, right?
Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves when people are standing up in front of a room full of people and spouting theory. I want to stick my hand up, and most of the time I restrain myself. Sometimes I fail. I want to stick my hand up and say, so how has this worked out for you?
Yes.
I agree. When people want to talk about agile development and agile testing, if they haven't actually worked hands-on as part of an agile team, I'm generally pretty skeptical of what they're saying.
Yes. What can we say?
Okay, well, tell you what, ladies, thank you very much. I truly appreciate it. We are at Agile Testing Days in Potsdam, Germany. Thank you very
Happy to be
much.
here.
And happy
Yeah.
to be here.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.